Hello, my name is Maraya Karena, and I am here to massage your baby. I'm just kidding, only you massage your baby. My name is Maraya Karena, and I am here to massage this doll. I went to this store, and they had black dolls, white dolls, and other. I went for other. I can't decide if it's Asian or Latino. Maybe it's half Asian, half Latino. Maybe it's Mongolian. This week's episode is dedicated to my homie Otis Funkmeyer, who blew my mind the other week when I was talking shit on David Wilcock. And he was saying, you know, even if these people, you don't agree with everything they say, and even if they're total D-bags, like David Wilcock kind of seems like he is, some people might have a few really, really good ideas. And so you shouldn't write people off, but you should give them the chance so that you can find these gems, these absolute pearls that some people receive from the cosmos. And this is an honor not only of Otis Funkmeyer and the D-bag David Wilcock, but the idea itself that came from the glory that is the universe. Now I'm going to back up for a second and do what Otis Funkmeyer did to me, where he said, okay, remember where you are right now. Remember where you are right now when you heard this fucking mind-blowing idea, because it's awesome. We have a pineal gland, right? We have a pineal gland right here in our head, and we know that it's a gland that's connected to our endocrine system that releases different chemicals and hormones, and weirdly enough, has rods and cones in it, just like our eyes do. So what David Wilcock is saying is not only is there space-time, where time is defined in relationship to gravity, and we move through space in according to that gravity-determined time, but there's time-space, right? Where we stay physically in one location in space and yet are able to travel through different time. For space-time, where time is defined by gravity and we're moving through space, we have our two eyes in order to be able to see and navigate that dimensional reality. Now, when we travel through time-space, we have one eye, and it's right here in the middle of our head. It's that eye that also has rods and cones in it that people, going back to the beginning of mystical, occult, esoteric exploration of consciousness and life as we know it, have been focusing their attention on that one point, on their eye, in order to be able to navigate time-space. Egyptians, Buddhists, Mayans, New Age freaks of all shapes and colors. What do you focus on? You focus on your ajna. Ancient India, all of these different civilizations go back to using the eye specifically available to them to navigate time-space. Okay, so for navigating through time-space, it seems like all of a sudden a lot of this different phenomena makes sense. Psychic phenomena, the memories of past lives, the ability to see into the future makes sense. And I know that it's not like past lives is something that's just accepted. And I've had my own journey in coming to terms with this phenomena. You know, for a long time I was very agnostic about past lives, because being an anthropologist, I've had a lot of respect for these different ancient cultures in Tibet, in India, in China, in North Africa, that did a lot of truly empirical studies of consciousness and all came to believe in past lives simply as a given. And you hear these stories of babies who are born in India, and as soon as they're able to talk, they say, listen, my name is Jabir Ahmed, and I am a bus driver in this province, in this town, and I have a wife, and I have 3 children, and I don't know what happened, but I think I got hit by a car and I died, and I just really want to see my wife. And the parents of this new baby that, you know, has finally been able to talk and put together this whole sentence go to that province, and they go to that town, and sure enough, they find this widow with 3 babies that matches the exact description. And not only that, but it's worldwide that before Christianity, pretty much all cultures on planet Earth believed in reincarnation. And so being an anthropologist, I had a lot of respect for that. But I was agnostic until I myself had a personal experience of time-space, where I was transported into a past life, and I had an experience that I couldn't turn away from, that I couldn't explain away, because it felt so real to me. And yet, We also know that this gland, our pineal gland in our forehead, releases a molecule called DMT, dimethyltryptamine. And that this is a really curious molecule, that it's released when you're born and when you die, that it's associated with dreams. Some people think that this is actually what triggers the visual component in the experience of dreams, is a flood of DMT to your sensory perceptors. And DMT is present in most living things. I want to say all, but you can never say all for sure. So I'm going to say it's present in most living things, which also makes sense, as if it was that DMT is the interlocking network that creates the fabric of time-space. So that when I connect with the DMT in my pineal gland, it allows me to access other entities that have DMT within their organismic bodies, within the DMT fabric that is the continuum of time-space. And so some people smoke DMT, and some people drink ayahuasca, which a lot of people think sustains a timed release of DMT to your system. And these people experience the same past lives and psychic phenomena and things like that. And they also report experiencing traveling to different dimensions and meeting different entities, meeting mantises, meeting aliens, meeting things that seem as though they're outside of our signature of time, space, and space-time. So whereas connecting to other elements of human experience, whether that's in the past life or whether that's the knowledge of somebody's brother who lives in Ohio, that's all happening within our time signature of human experience. But now we have this thing through people who smoke DMT or who take ayahuasca, feeling like they travel to different dimensions. Now, instead of our current notion of space-time, where you have, time and space, and we kind of travel linearly through time and space, or this inverted notion of space and time, where maybe we stay in one space but we go organismically webbing outwards through time. Now we have this axis of time-space and this axis of space-time, and it creates a three-dimensional shape, because now we have not only height and length but volume. And so instead of locating yourself simply on one axis or the other, you're finding your coordinates in time, space-time, time, space-time, 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 space-time. Maybe we can call this time space-time. David Wilcock has this other article that he just came out with, where he basically deciphers the musical notes of the planets in our solar system. And this is interesting to me because if you're in space-time, where time is defined by gravity and things are moving linearly through space, then the solar system would look like a set of interlocking geometries, because you would see the orbits of the planets. Whereas if you're in time space, where all time is happening simultaneously and all of those orbits are going continuously, you would see the planets more as waves. You would see them more in their vibrational essence of sound. And so decoding the music of the spheres would be that much more within the language of time-space than within space-time. So that David Wilcock is actually participating in this forward ground shift from particle thinking to wave thinking, where particle thinking began with the Platonic tradition of seeing the solar system as a set of interlinking geometries, to David Wilcock being able to see the waveform of the vibrational aspect of these planets and able to decode the musical qualities of the spheres that Plato originally started. And it makes me wonder what other insights are part of this movement of switching our thinking from particle to wave, from space-time to time-space. I know a lot of people feel like maybe 2012 was a bust, but even the fact that we can take the leap of faith to believe that the Mayans saw something, that they were able to journey to a different part of time-space and know something of this era that we live in shows the shifting gears in this particle wave forward ground shift happening within our own consciousness on a collective level. And actually, I think if we look around at a lot of the things that were very taboo, like reincarnation, come from this simple switch. And of course, we know that these aren't past lives, right? That they aren't just in the past. That that's the way that we understand them in space-time. But actually, in time-space, they're all happening at the same time. And that just because they're in the past, they're also ones that happened in the future that we're still feeling the feedback of. That our understanding of reincarnation is confined by our current understanding of time and by our belief that we are locked into space-time instead of understanding the ways that we are simultaneously existing within time-space. One of the things that believing in reincarnation helped me to do is to relax about this life. My best friend Sam used to be really worried about dying. You know, she's very preoccupied with dying and thinks a lot about death and worries about it. And, you know, I realized that I was really preoccupied with life and living enough and whether I was going to make the most of this opportunity, of this precious gift of life. And one day we realized that we were actually worried about the same thing. That whether you're worried about dying or whether you're worried about not living enough, it's two sides of the same coin. And so believing in reincarnation helped me relax about that. So that now, when I think about being on my deathbed, I'm not worried about the tally of the experiences of my life. I'm more concerned about the tally of my soul and how much I've been able to further my own evolution and develop whatever this life force is that's moving through me. So whereas before, I felt like I had to go out and party on Friday night because I felt like I needed to be partying on Friday night, now I feel a lot more relaxed about the whole thing. And sometimes things go slow. Like, I'm at a point in my life where right now things are going really slow. You know, I'm like working a job and I'm, you know, like cooking dinner and I'm going to yoga and sometimes I hang out with people and sometimes I stay in and I read a lot of novels. Like, this is a really slow and humble time in my life. And that's okay, because sometimes things go slow and sometimes things go fast. And for me, it's important to remember to have respect for both. You know, it's not just about going to workshops and going traveling and being in these really intense relationships and immersing myself in compacted experiences so I can get the most out of every minute. It's also about the ebb and flow, about the up and down, about letting those things gestate, about releasing into the way you truly feel like living. And knowing that this is also beautiful and important growth for your soul. That sometimes things happen slow, and sometimes things happen fast. And we just gotta remember that things are happening all of the time. And all of the space. And that space is happening all of the time. And that time is happening all of the space. And that space is happening all of the space. And time is happening all of the time. And it's all going on right now. So open your eyes. Open all three of your eyes. Explore, 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 explore. Alright, you guys. I hope you enjoy this idea as much as I did. I think this is absolutely fascinating. And I'm going to be meditating on this one for a long time. Keep it open. Keep it wide open. And I'll check you next time on the Maraya Karena Show. Hello. My name is Maraya Karena, and I'm here to massage these unsuspecting toddlers. Hello, my name is Maraya Karena, and I'm here to massage this garbage truck.